background music going.
Hello, Wade. Xa'xtsa Wade. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. There'll just be a little moment as we let this waterfall of people join. Somebody's found the closed captions. That's show captions at the bottom of your screen. That will give you a transcript of what's being said. That helps you engage. And if you do have any problems hearing or seeing anything, please use the chat and one of us will support you in making sure that you can engage with what we're doing. There's also a react bar because we are in webinar mode, so we can't see your beautiful faces, unfortunately, but there is a react button at the bottom where you can, somebody's found it, you can do some little emojis that dance on the screen so we can let you know you're here with us. Thanks so much. I'm Jade. I'm joining you today from Xa'xtsa territory, the people of the bull trout. I'm also at the intersection of three great waterways that have resources, stories, relationship for the Skookumchuck, the Silks and the Tanaha First Nations. I'm right by the banks of Sinhuitkwa. Sinhuitkwa is the Swift River, the Columbia River in its colonial name. And her banks are fit to bust at the moment with the rain, with the fall rain that's been coming, and it hasn't quite turned to snow yet. But today I was reminded of the power of the river for release and from moving into one space to the next. So I'm so deeply grateful for all of the knowledge that has been shared with me about this place. Purcell, the snakes are still here, and it is a beautiful thing to share in. Julie's here saying, doing some beautiful work in the background to support us as we go. And we are keeping it short and sweet so we can keep moving. But I'm really, really grateful that two phenomenal educators, authors, artists, and creators are joining us this evening to talk about their new book. I'm going to introduce Carl first because he's going to do a beautiful opening for us. But Carl lives in Xa'xtsa and works in the community, providing important knowledge to young people on culture and history. He's also involved with environmental action groups and is a talented carver. If you haven't seen his work, we'll put a link in the chat and you can go online. Beautiful. He's also trained as a language speaker, which you'll see his work through the book. And it also spends time in food sovereignty, fishing and hunting. And I'm really grateful that you've agreed to open things in a good way for us. Welcome. Thanks, Carl.
All right. Yeah, hey, no, hey, yo, 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 hey, no, hey, yo. Hey no, hey yo, 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 hey no, hey yo.
Thank
That
you
was
so
called our love
much.
song.
Oh,
I wanted to say welcome everybody. So our first inaugural book launch here for Launa and myself, helping her out there. Just like to open up with a prayer first. Amislap takamstaknuka. O kuka kukpi. Kuktam kakti tamikwati ko a. Muta itakma what's quanum. Kukstam kakti amashkait. Kukstam kak takamis malkacha. Muta e ukomicha. Tuk kukstam ukach koisten. Takam ewa mant. Takam ewa shauch. Takam ewa kelik. Takam ewa rap ilti tamikacha. Stok lama amachohash. Our prayers, O great Creator, we thank you for the land and the water and all the food that we eat. We thank you for the good day. We thank you for all our children and our people. All is good. We thank you, Creator, for all that walk on Mother Earth here. We thank you for all that fly in our skies, from the birds to the bees, insects. And we want to thank you for all that swim in our waters, that feed us, and all that grow here on Mother Earth. We thank you. It's really good. Takam Sheknuka. Thank you, all my relatives and friends.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Damn, I always feel like I need about 10 minutes just to let all that just sink in, but we're gonna got more things to share, so let's keep on keeping on. But what a beautiful opening. Thank you. That's a gift. Before I'll introduce Launa, because and then Elise is going to just say really quickly about the amazing working with you to produce and publish this book. But Launa, I'm so lucky I've got to work with you in various spaces and places over the last few years now, and every single time it is a gift, and it is filled with new and rich, beautiful learning. I found you to be one of the most generous spirited people that I've ever worked with, and so I'm really, really grateful for every time we get to interact, whether it's in this space or in other spaces as well. So thank you for being here and for continuing to write books that I get to share as an educator and that touch the hearts and souls and minds of not only educators but the children that engage with it, and so it's a real honor. You're a member of the Douglas First Nation. You are an Indigenous educator, and I've been lucky enough to see you supporting Indigenous youth on outdoor camps and engage in your mindfulness training, and you also do yoga. And your organization, Rise Up Indigenous Wellness, is one that's very close to my heart, and the work that I do with my Indigenous Friendship Society. You first wrote a book, Heartbeat of the Earth, and which is about connecting children to nature through Indigenous teachings. And now you're going to share about your new book, which is just being published right now, which is Whispers of the Earth. And so, Elise, I don't know if you want to say a quick word, but welcome, Launa. Sorry, I get it.
Thank you for that beautiful intro, you, Dave and Elise.
Yes, thanks everyone for being here tonight. And I'm just so excited that we get to have this wonderful celebration, because there is so much really worth celebrating with this book. And I've had the great privilege of working with Launa in bringing this book to life. It's really been a labor of love that she's been working on for many, many moons now. And when she came to the outdoor learning store with this book in mind, and already had it designed and ready to go with her own, art that she used in a really creative way, and also working with Sarah Bennett, who's a designer we use a lot at Outdoor Learning Store. I'm really grateful for. I just knew it was something really special, and the whole team knew it was something really special. So we're really grateful that Carl, Sam, you're here today too, that you can join and share what you've shared with Launa and pay it forward in that way as well. And then we can pay forward our respects for this wonderful resource coming out. I think it's really special because not only is Whispers for the Earth a really wonderful book that has such a great value for young readers and educators of all ages too, but it's really a book that's, I think, is going to be uniting communities across Turtle Island. So many people can read this and enjoy it personally, but also in their professional lives. It has so much value. Um, and it has a really great exploration of the natural world by sharing wisdom from Launa's own cultural teachings. And it makes incredible strides to support language revitalizations, thanks to Carl Sam, who I'm just so grateful is here tonight too. So I have a hunch that this book will resonate with all of you who, like me and like our team here, really use the land as co-teacher and really use it, enjoy engaging in the relationship with the land in our lives. And I'm really grateful and excited for you to have it as an addition to your bookshelf. So thank you all for being here. And thanks, Launa, and thanks, Carl, for your work.
Okay, so shall I share a little bit about the why behind the book, and then maybe Carl and I can share a few words from the book. Yeah, I'm thank you for those kind words, and I'm really excited to share this. Whispers of the Earth is a book based on traditional ecological knowledge. So I say I shared the teachings, not that I wrote this book, because the teachings are traditional land teachings that are shared and have been passed along. And we acknowledge that those are the words of our ancestors coming through and being shared in this format. So as someone who has a passion for place-based learning, and I've worked for many years with young people, I felt like there was a space to bring together all these individual nature indicators. So all the things that we see and hear that are passed along through the oral tradition, and things in nature that tell us about when change happens. And we'll have a chance to share a little some of the teachings that are in the book. But I've been so lucky to work with Carl Sam. We're both Xa'xtsa First Nations, also known as Douglas. Carl's more originally from Skookumchuck, but lives out in Xa'xtsa with his wife Fran and lovely family. And when I was working on the gathering the knowledge for the book, Carl and I were chatting one day, and he said, you know, the other day I saw, you probably remember this, Carl, you said, I looked out and it was winter time, but there was a gray hare, a gray rabbit out there when it should have been white. And we started talking about that, how what's going on with nature and what's happening right now, where things where the animals are not always adjusting to the changes in nature. And that sort of I was in the midst of putting these ideas together, that really like pushed that little step forward of like, let's gather up more of this knowledge and more, and have a little more of an understanding of what's changing. And as caretakers of the earth, what are we noticing from our traditional teachings to what's happening right now in nature? So a lot of this idea of the traditional ecological knowledge in Whispers of the Earth speaks to that broader goals of climate justice, and even in a social way of truth and reconciliation, of like understanding Indigenous people as the original caretakers and keepers of the land. And so it's more than just sharing that knowledge, it's restoring humanity's relationship with the land. So I really feel like that importance of those words that resonate from our ancestors, from that oral tradition into the written word. And a few years back, Carl and I took some young people into the backcountry on a like challenging. There was lots of tears and lots of frustration, but we did a good chunk of the Stein Valley trek. And if anybody knows that, it's a pretty steep and challenging mountainous country. But the thing that I really took away and valued after that journey was both Carl's patience in showing us the words for the things around us and how to treat the things around us. He would be first up in the morning taking a cold plunge and hours ahead of us on the trail, and pretty much last person down at the end of the day. So I was just so inspired to think about that, the way that our knowledge and our connection to the land are so interwoven, and how how he walked that walk too, and that we can't care for our land and understand our land without having that language piece as well. So yeah, so I'm super grateful for that, and I was hoping to share some of the words out of Whispers of the Earth, and maybe I can do a page. There's an intro and then a few of the different technology knowledge pieces, and then maybe Carl could share a bit of our language at that time too. So yeah, so Whispers of the Earth is a journey through Indigenous wisdom. Welcome, young Earthkeeper. Get ready to begin a journey filled with the wisdom of our ancestors, the secrets whispered by Mother Earth. Prepare to be led down a path walked by our ancestors, a path filled with the songs of the trees, the dance of the rivers, and our stories carried on the wind. These teachings are precious treasures passed down through generations. You will learn the language of the animals, the teachings of the plants, and the wisdom of the land. Listen carefully, and you will hear whispers of the earth. We are surrounded by whispers of the earth. Our ancestors reminded us to listen with more than our ears and to see with more than our eyes. Should we share the word for ears or eyes there?
And Launa and Carl, I'm so sorry, I'm jumping in. I had to mute you, Carl. Sorry, just because there was a little bit, we made the sound settings great for the drum, where now it picks up every whisper of the earth in the space. And so I did a little mute. I apologize. That's very rude, but I was we were having a little bit of interference with Lorna speaking. So you might need to unmute again and then you'll be good. Sorry.
Okay, so I just wondered on that page, Carl, could you share our word for ear and eyes?
Sorry, you're still muted, Carl. Sorry, you got to go to that little microphone button again. That's my fault. I do apologize.
Lynette. We said, it was Lynette. You got no ears. Katushtan would be our eyes. Nakin would be our hair.
A bear having less cubs might tell us that their diet has been affected by environmental stressors like pollution.
Mesha. Mesha would be our bear.
Old man's beard is a type of lichen called usnea. A forest with a lot of usnea has clear air and is generally undisturbed. The deer live on this all year long.
That's it for deer.
Many frogs in a pond tell us that the water quality is good.
Pipit would be our frog there.
When the leaves on an alder tree show their underside, rain is coming. The alder leaves are also made into a poultice for a pain relief salve. Maybe I'll share.
Ocean rain would be a quiche.
Yeesh. And one last page I'll share. When the grasshoppers arrive, the sockeye salmon are in the river.
Tsokwa for our salmon. One I forgot on that one. When the salmon berries are ready, then the salmon are in the water. And I said, oh, I forgot all about that one.
Next book. So just a little kind of sample of some of the ideas that are in there, and there was various people contributing, but Carl had so much interesting knowledge about like passed along knowledge about what happens after fires, what was our traditional use, what do the animals, what are they feeding on, and how can we, what does that indicate about other parts of nature?
Mm-hmm.
So essentially the book is can be used to point out things in nature. So when you're with the class or with students, noticing things like the old man's beard or what the state of the water is, the book can be a chance to like look at those and a starting place for further science study too, or looking a little deeper into some of those aspects of the nature around us. Did you want to add anything to that, Carl? I want to make sure I'm not.
Yeah, somebody in chat there was asking what language we were speaking. Our language is Xa'xtsa. It consists of 11 bands altogether. As one nation, we call them Xa'xtsa Nation. And I think like it's really good to get out. Like I'm always looking forward to the next season. Oh, this season right now I'm so busy. Like the mushrooms are just ending. Then you're thinking, oh, now it's time to hunt. You know, when springtime's coming, oh man, the medicines are coming at just in time. You know, for all those medicines and all the first medicines that pop up. Springtime or summertime's coming. You know, it's time for putting away, and the fish are coming. So like we're busy all year long. You're just looking at nature for these signs, eh? Like when we're up in the Stein Valley there, and I heard the crow or the raven going caw caw, like caw. That's our word for eat. So it means eat. So oh, he's saying eat, you know. Cawum, which is the wolf. So the raven's calling the wolf cawum to come over and break up the meat, so it's edible for the crow too. When you listen to the water when they're sitting there by the creek there going ooh, so we said oka for a drink. Little tidbits.
And all of that, the basis of this book, when I think about this journey we took through the Stein Valley with young people, like we talked about, it's the same place where our ancestors were hunting and fishing like generations and generations ago, and the echoes of that land, the echoes of that knowledge that when our children are not on the land and they're not reconnecting to our traditional teachings and like losing touch with that importance of being caretakers of the earth. So I think that's also an inspiration for Whispers of the Earth to inspire and to reconnect. Yeah, so should we be leaving a little gap for questions too, Jade?
Just listen to you talk forever and ever. It's so wonderful, and the book is so lovely to listen to. It's so nice to hear you read it rather than just the words in my head. So that's really special. Yes, questions would be nice. If anyone does have any, you can use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen, and you can dive in there. And you answered the first question that we got there around which language you were speaking, and Harry was asking about illustrations, and you're still working on the on the excerpt.
So, yeah, so we're still it's a combination right now, and we're still refining it. So we're working with an Indigenous artist to towards some of the cover art, and it's a combination of uploaded photos that have been worked with to reflect the ecological knowledge, and that's on purpose that there would be that piece of combining modern technology with traditional technology, traditional knowledge, traditional ecological knowledge, in order to demonstrate that piece to our children walk through this world right now in a technology world, and how can we reconnect our children to the land while using the good parts or the good pieces of technology. So the images are a combination, and we're refining them right now along with an Indigenous artist.
Excellent.
Yeah, they were very good pictures that you collected there. The people were complimenting me on the photographs you got in there. They're really good.
Yeah.
Just wanted to mention that, like, I've been out there, I've been teaching the school, Xa'xtsa Community School there. Whatever intrinsic knowledge I collected throughout my life, I've been passing it on. And some of their parents come up to me, hey, I don't know how to do that, so end up teaching some of the parents, just passing on this knowledge to them too. It's just great to share it. It wasn't in our my childhood, being taken away from to residential school, and that missing link was there for a long time, but I sought it out just here and there and here. Sometimes books, sometimes just keeping your ear open to people talk and catch things to learn them. Still learning.
That's
I
a
think
nice thought.
Sorry, and I was just gonna say, I think Carl captures that it is like connecting to the land is reconciliation. It is something like what was lost through residential schools or what was lost through 60s scoop and other things, is like this reconnection to the land is part of that whole truth and reconciliation.
People are asking when and where the book will be available. Julie can pop the link in the chat again. We're pre-ordering now, and there is a little postal strike happening, but we're hoping January, once everything is all, so there'll be a New Year delivery for you to take the Whispers of the Earth with you. Another person visiting is down in the US, and they're wondering perhaps if they're in a different part of the world. Of course, we know that like Indigenous knowledge, there's no pan-Indigenous knowledge. Every group, nation, and area has really specific teachings. But I'm wondering if you could share how maybe this could be utilized in different spaces. And I would just say that your previous book, Launa, Heartbeat of the Earth, that when one of the stories and was being shared in that with a different language, that I've done this with people, and then they got the keywords translated into their local Indigenous language in order to share. But I'm wondering if either of you feel like how this can be shared out with wider audience, and why it would be relevant there.
Yeah, so some of the knowledge, of course, would be relevant to the land that we live on and the type of ecosystems we have around us. And then some of it, like depending on what they're where they're at. But then other parts of the book, like around the way that we treat the water and what happens when there's fires, things that are more things that happen in a broader range and in other areas. And so I think like the overriding theme of the book is about observing what's happening in nature and observing what are indicators in nature. So although some of the things would be specific to here, and of course the language is from this area, but I feel like we would hope that other people might adapt it with their local language, and know that there are teachings that would have their students thinking about some of those ideas about how we care for the land.
Yeah, the language is just pretty minimum on the book. You know, we're trying to get the message out there of what's being said in the book. You know, there's a lot of that knowledge was sort of lost. You know, and it's coming back. So me just not being a fluent speaker yet, I'm just completely learning yet. You know, studying and learning, and so it was real minimum the language, but you know, it's coming back to a lot of our people. There's a real reconciliation to get our language back. It would take 5 years, if it takes 50 years for us all to be speaking fluently again. We're still striving towards that.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, and the only other piece I would add to that is in running on the land camps like I do with Rise Up and my history as a faith-based educator, it was hard to find like things that address traditional ecological knowledge. Like it was hard to find things that were authentically Indigenous knowledge about the land. So yeah, so I hope that there would be some like ways to support people looking for the same thing in their work.
Thank you so much. We're really nearing the end. I just wanted, there was one last thing, and I feel like what you just mentioned there, Carl touched on it, but this sort of reconciliation. As one of, again, some of our friends in the South perhaps haven't had a Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Maybe there hasn't been this very like open, loud conversation about hearing the truth of what has happened through colonialism to Indigenous people, the devastation of residential schools, the attempted genocide. And up here, we're talking about it a lot. And books like this, in a way that are revitalizing language and knowledge, are a way of, especially as well, if you're non-Indigenous, of reading this and holding that space and sharing that out. But it is specific to lots of different places. And if you are in the South, I'd encourage you, the same things went on. We do have other trainings like the 4 seasons of Indigenous learning training that Launa has helped curate as well. So there are other things. I'll put a link in the chat, but if you're looking to deepen your knowledge around the truth of colonialism and what you can do to reconcile specifically where you are, we do have some other resources, but a beautiful place to start is to buy Indigenous created resources and to support Indigenous knowledge. And that's what we're here to do today.
Yeah, and for those in further south, you know, you're going to have to look around locally yourselves, because, you know, a lot of this knowledge doesn't pertain to, like, you know, arid regions or, you know, further back east and that. So you really have to look around your own environment.
It might inspire them too, though.
Yeah. You have to.
Is there anything you'd like to say, Launa or Carl, in closing before we stay to the end, everyone? I'm going to give away 2 $25 gift cards to the Outdoor Learning Store and 2 $25 gift cards to the Take Me Outside store. So you could use that as part of your pre-order if you win. So stick to the end. But before, is there anything you'd like to say, Launa and Carl, to close us off and finish the session?
Well, thanks, Launa, for coming up with the idea for the book. You know, it's really great to see it. It's needed. It was needed for our people. You know, I was really good when I first seen the book there, and it's, oh wow, this is really good. Then of course it made me think, oh, what about this and this, and add a little more to it. And this is just the beginning. I hope, you know, we come out with volume 2 or book 2 and 3. You know.
Keep that energy, Carl. We're working more.
Yeah. Well, thank you all for bringing this book to light. Thank you.
Anything to close there, Launa? Are you happy?
That was lovely. No, no, I'm just really happy to have worked with Carl on this, and I hope people enjoy Whispers of the Earth.
Beautiful. And there were nearly 200 people here listening to you in this space, and probably the same again. We'll watch the recording and seeing some people really interested in the book. And I can't wait to have a hard copy in my hands too. Okay, really quickly.
How's my hair?
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you again, Cookscham, Lim. It's the greatest honor to get to be in these spaces and learn. Can't really believe this is my job, to be honest. It is just joy. So thank you so much for sharing that with us this evening. Before you all disappear, I'm going to do a really, really quick prize giving. Launa and Carl, if you would like to leave, please feel free. I know that you're very busy and you've given so much. Okay, first person is Edna Dennis. Edna Dennis. You've won a $25 gift card to the store. I'm going to send you an email. You don't have to say anything. We've got your email in the registration. Okay, second person doing a big scroll is Vicky Cassidy. Vicky Cassidy, you've won a gift card too. Next person is Laura Jack. Laura Jack, you are a TMO winner. And oh, I went too far. I went right down to the middle. Lynn Parkhurst. Lynn Parkhurst, you're our fourth and final winner. I feel like we're all winners for getting to be in this space. And yeah, what a lovely little short and sweet. Sorry, we're a bit late as always, but thank you again for being here. Carl, it's a pleasure to meet you, and hopefully not the last.
Good night,
Good night, everyone.